Hi everyone. Today I'm going to talk about a little experience I had purchasing a piece of equipment online. And it involves making sure that you're fully informed before you make the purchase. So in February of 2019, late February, my wife Beth and I went to Arizona and we hit the usual hot spots. The Grand Canyon, Canyon de Chelly, Petrified Forest, and the selfie room at the Embassy Suites Biltmore in Phoenix. When we got back from that trip, I discovered that I was missing a little travel tripod that I took along. The cameras I used on that trip were two Lumix GX85 bodies, which are compact. And so I had a nice, slick Pro travel tripod that I bought in Missoula, Montana, way back in like 2003. Really liked that tripod. Hunted high and low, couldn't find it anywhere. Or I thought I looked everywhere. I actually missed it. At any rate, so I decided to replace it. I didn't want to spend a lot of money, and I went online and looked at some articles and found an article. Something on like 5 best tripods for under $100. And yeah, I wanted to spend less than $100. The updated version of the Slick Pro tripod is somewhat over $100. So I bought this tripod on the big online retail site based on the article and also based on a lot of glowing reviews. There were a lot of 5-star reviews, a few lower rating reviews, but I figured all products get a few bad ratings. So I bought this tripod, and in less than a year, and here it is, and less than a year later, I was out on a hike in a local forest reserve, and luckily I did not have the camera on this ball head. But I was walking along, and all of a sudden I heard thunk. Thought, what's that? I turned around and looked, and the ball head was on the ground. So I picked it up, looked at it, couldn't really see what happened, but it was obvious that it was no longer attached to the center column of the tripod. So when I got home, I took a closer look at it, and it turned out, and I'm putting up a photo just to show this, this is held to the center column. It's actually held by 2 very small metal pins. I thought initially that it was only 1 pin, but looking at it further, it turns out there were 2. But what had happened is that one of those pins had either fallen out or sheared previously, because I did notice that there was a little bit of play that developed in this connection between the ball head and the tripod. And of course that put all of the strain on the single remaining pin, which finally failed. So think about having an expensive camera on this and having that fall on the ground, lens attached. It might have come out okay, but you never know. So then I went back to the big online retail website and looked at the listing again and read the 1-star reviews. And a huge proportion of those 1-star reviews said this exact thing happened to that person. So it's possible. I mean, my feeling of this is a design flaw. And if somebody buys this tripod and they're not a real heavy user, I mean, they use it around the house, might use it just to put a camera on to use for YouTube, it probably lasts a long time. But if you're taking it out into the field and using it a lot, and it's bouncing around in your car, which puts a lot of stress on equipment, that's eventually going to fail. So if you're a heavy-duty user, this is not a good tripod. That's a lesson learned. If you're going to buy and sink, this was $70 or $80. I forget exactly how much, but if you're going to sink any kind of money into a piece of equipment, you want that equipment to work. You don't want this happening, and you don't want it destroying a really expensive piece of equipment attached to it. Interesting, funny thing I mentioned that I thought I'd looked everywhere for that Pro GM tripod, but evidently I didn't look in a big suitcase well enough, because here it is. This is a really good suitcase. It has this very simple ball head, but this ball head is rock solid. I have put my Lumix G9 and 100 to 300 lens on this, and it holds them rock steady, and it's actually strong enough to hold that combination. So it's kind of nice because it's not a very heavy tripod. It is metal, but I've kind of turned this lemon into a lemonade, though, because what I've done is I've turned this into a little light stand. You can get these little brackets that allow you to screw two lights onto that, so you can put two strobes on this. And this, actually, this part comes off. I got it down here really tight. This comes off, and you can just set it back in here, put this on top of it, and I've used that as a backdrop light for headshots where I want two lights lighting up the background. I'll work on that later. The other thing is that I've taken this ball head, and I have a monopod, and I've put this ball head on that monopod, and it works fine. I mean, the ball head's actually, for being attached to this tripod in a really, what I consider, flimsy manner, that's a pretty decent ball head. I mean, it'll hold that same G9 100-300 combo with no issues at all. So it's actually sad. If they had designed this, and maybe they've updated it, I don't know, but if they designed it with a robust connection here, that'd be a decent little tripod. Anyway, that's your tip for today. If you found this useful, please like it, and if you're interested in seeing more from me, subscribe, click the little bell so you're notified of new videos, and go out, make great pictures, and I will see you next time.